Welcome and appreciate you coming through. And again, please feel free to donate on this particular podcast. 199 for, and I always say that if you have 3 requests, 299 for 6 requests, and I will get to those videos as soon as possible. And I appreciate the support and all the feedbacks. Appreciate you. Now on with this episode. This episode is going to deal with the elimination of hip hop moguls. I scour the internet always in search of great topics and topics that are challenging and topics that I want to direct and talk about as they come across my computer screen or my phone or what have you out and about. This one is a really good one because I'm on these YouTube streets and I do watch Reggie Wright Jr. on Bomb First and I do write Gene Deal on our dialect on various platforms as they both have been on various platforms. Bodyguard securities, right hand man, etc. Reggie Wright got in on the business side with Death Row and Suge Knight. This is a very compelling topic because there is no longer the hip hop mogul model as it was. It was fashionable in the 90s. You know, from Easy E to Suge Knight to Master P to Birdman to Irv Gotti to Jay Prince. Then you got, others that were doing it. Then you got the independent artists. But that hip hop mogul thing is played out. Jay-Z was one too. Rockefeller, Damon Dash. You came to know it as much as the music. And it became a tie in. But now the question is the elimination of, well, it's simple. The mass ain't got no more use for them. There's no more money to pimp and window dress. A lot of these labels and what have you sampled 70s, 80s music, 60s, 70s, 80s, which was the best golden era of R&B music, especially the 70s. How many acts have sampled P-Funk and Earth, Wind and Fire and the Commodores and Jackson 5? And the songs by heart. James Brown should be like the Bill Gates of hip hop. He should be richer than anybody you can imagine, his estate. But there's a few things that work. You can't take that no more. You don't have A&R no more. You don't have the quality. And there's not that kind of money being spent because of the stream hustle. So people aren't tied to watching TV like they were. They watch their computers and their cell phones. They're not glued to a TV, and it's not the unknown. So you can't do the PR machinery, and you won't create the new Puffy anytime soon, good or bad, or Jermaine Dupri. And I can keep on naming names. But the bottom line is that era is over. But it was always a farce anyway, because these cats were window dressers who was being on someone's strings to promote like they were some CEO, like they were some boss, when they really weren't. They were just puppets on a plantation. The people behind them were the real ones. Jimmy Iovine behind Dr. Dre as Clive Davis behind Puffy. Think about it. The people who be manipulating this, Tommy Mottola behind Jermaine Dupri and others at Sony. They sell you this agenda, and he's got these cats as puppets on the plantation. Like when Irv Gotti and his brother and them caught that case, they got back their publishing, they got back their masters, but they got like 10 million. Now that's a lot of money, no lie. But considering all the money and expenses for videos and the samples and the hypes and the promotion, you got to sell a chunk of records. And in order to do that, you have to window dress this with clothing and outfits. Pimp the prostitute mindset. That's what they do. So nowadays, you don't have that. There is no golden goose egg of a two-part that gets bailed out and gets pushed to a said boutique label. The boutique artist, or Snoop going from Death Row to No Limit to Star Trek to Pharrell. These labels and what Luther Campbell did with Two Live Crew, all that stuff was a lot of make-believe. They don't own it. What is the hip-hop mogul? The hip-hop mogul wouldn't have anything to do with that industry. They could never merge together because they tried to. They would get put as a survivor and then they would get broken up. Well, of course, you can throw Russell Simmons, but Russell Simmons had to go into clothing. They all had to go into clothing or liquor or alcohol, some form of other source to make income. There was no money from the music. The hip-hop mogul has been one of the biggest frauds. Case in point, remember when Jay-Z came out and he said the first time he got his royalty check, He said, we got to think of something else to move Rockefeller. That is the reality. There is not that much money in the music, but they've been pulling this facade with their make believe characters that they've been assembled like the Hollywood studios of acting to sell character. Cats ain't made that kind of bag from no music. They make their money from clothing and product placement, merchandising, which is still tied to corporate America, which is still tied to the plantation because it's government auction and size and seas, all on lease, never owned. That's been the myth of it and the myth of the fraudulence. So when you talk about the elimination of the hip hop mogul, who's the hip hop mogul? Who's the real hip hop mogul? Because they show something in the window, but it's window dressing, like the dummy model. Take 50 Cent, for instance. He made his money off of vitamin water, not much from music. They give you clothes and jewelry, they give you a budget, but when that's all said and done, you got to pay that money back, and they own you, and you owe them for life. Take heed to that. Unless you're an independent, unless you use the internet and you use the channels that you have to your own, you have nothing. That window dressing era should be over. That's just like them fake awards and those fake stars and Walk of Fame and all that fakery that they give you and their certifications, which they manipulate too. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do appreciate that. Also, feel free to donate, subscribe, mention the channel, bring it on. I welcome, and we will keep it real. I'm out.